Well, hello again, Steve here, and I wanted to get back to the videos again. I've been away for a few days, so now is as good a time as ever to get back at it. Now, I wanted to do a little bit of a follow up on what I had talked about a week or so ago about standing out. And I at that time I put that goofy looking top hat on, and the origin of the top hat, of course, is that you stand out, you stand a little bit taller, do something a little bit different, behave a little bit different, and so on. And the reason I was talking about that before was I was going to do a presentation to a large group of investment professionals, and it was about public speaking. And my whole theme was most of my theme was stand out, be a little bit different, have that attention getter, have that difference that people remember you for. Well, I just wanted to share a little story that happened to me, or a thing that happened to me. It didn't just happen to me; it was a result of me doing something, but it happened anyway. And it's an example of just how little those standout differences can make. And I don't have an empirical evidence that what I did that was different was what made the difference. But I have a very big suspicion because I've there's too many times this has happened for it to just be a coincidence, right? Okay, so many of you know that I do handyman jobs, and I take on all kinds of projects. In fact, this last week I was working on a field house at a local school. So it's a football field and it's a field house for scoreboard and what have you, and putting metal cladding on the roof and all the basic trim and everything in it. Okay, so that job came. It wasn't because of filling out a resume or anything like that. It was as a result of doing a job for another guy who, I managed a job for a guy, and the supplier of him I was in contact with all the time. So the supplier called me up this spring and said, "Hey, we're shipping this material to this guy. Can you install it for him? Because he doesn't know how to install it." So things come very, very non traditional ways that those things come in. And of course, I don't always have an abundance of work. It's ups and downs, right? And when I have a little bit of downtime, what I do is I look. Okay, what's out there? And I look through, things online and what have you, and things will pop up that just sound less interesting. That's something that I could do. So, and usually, especially if it's some sort of a corporate gig, like they want something done, it's like, put in your information now and we'll call you in 2 months or whatever. Like we got to have a bidding process, blah, blah, blah. And usually it's, hey, if there's any interest that we have, we'll get back to you. Don't bother calling us. Don't bother anything. Don't bother us. Just send in your blob on this link. Click here and put your information in and send it off, right? Well, I got to thinking, that's what everybody does if they're going to send it off. They're going to just follow the instructions. Well, like this goofy thing, it's in nobody's playbook, right? So why do I have to follow those instructions? Here was an example, like I say, a week ago or whatever. I was looking through, and this is it's a job. It's sort of a corporate, no, it's sort of like an industrial handyman job. So potentially quite lucrative. And I was looking at it, and it said, yeah, send in your information. I'm thinking that's just going to go to some HR, nobody somewhere. But then down at the bottom of the website, there's the actual physical address. So I said, okay, well, nobody really sends snail mail anymore. Why don't I just print them up a letter and send it to them handwritten? So I took an envelope, just an envelope like this, and I just put I handwritten their address because it was right on their website, and my address, handwritten, and put an, honest to God, I actually went down to the post office and it was $1.10 to put this postage stamp on, and I licked it on and stamped it and sent it off. And what was interesting was this particular industrial handyman job. It said the closing, the way they usually bids will close, and it said the 30th of June. What is it today? It's just a second here. It's the 17th of June. Nowhere near to the 30th. And I sent that thing out, a few days ago. So it said in there, the closing is the 30th. So don't bother contacting us after the 30th or any time because we're not going to answer it and so on. And So in other words, I'm thinking, well, I throw these things out because if I see something here, see something there, the more irons I got in the oven, the more chances I have for potential. And even if I don't take on a certain job, at least I have options, right? So, anyways, I was at work today, and fortunately, I had my phone on me because I was up on a roof somewhere, I think it was, and my phone rings. I answer, and it's this guy, and he says, "Hey, you sent this information to us, and we really got to talk to you. Like, we need a guy like right now. Like, when can you start?" And I'm thinking, well, it's quite a ways out of town. I'm busy now, etc. But I'm going to be going up there close by anyways in the next few weeks or whatever. I'll pop in. He says, yeah, because we got like the guy who's doing that job. He's retiring, and we got a huge, massive contract coming up that's going to start in August, and it's going to run right through till next March. And we need a guy like right now. And if you know how to fix stuff and everything, we need you. I said, okay, well, I'll go check it out. When I'm up there, I'll look you up. And he said, yeah, for sure. And here's my number and blah blah blah. So, and I was thinking afterwards, you know what? I wonder if that had anything to do with this, because nobody else sent in a letter that was handwritten and everything. Nobody did that, probably. So I get home and I look at my email, and there's somebody there who sounds a little bit frantic. Hey, we got this. We got a letter from you, and it was in brackets, snail mail, like exclamation point. Like nobody sees snail mail anymore. And yeah, can we call you right away? You know. Anyways, it was just bizarre, and because it was so along the lines of what I had talked about with these investors, who, by the way, investor professionals, who, by the way, seem to have no interest in what I was saying, almost no interest. It's just astounding. But anyways, it's so often the case, isn't it? I mean, we have something that we know is really important. This is like wow, and so few people show much interest. But anyways, I just thought it was really interesting, so I'll go check it out because I'll be close by there anyway. And whether I do or I don't is beside the point. But over the years, I've thought about all the gigs I've gotten, and not even just regular jobs and so on too. And everybody says, "Oh, you got to have a resume and blah blah blah." Honest to God, I don't know if I've ever gotten a job from a resume. I don't know if I ever have. See, here's my image of a resume. In the old days, you mail it in, right? And today you send it in on a link or whatever. Especially if it's a bigger organization, my image of those is, look, it goes to an HR somewhere and they're overloaded with this stuff and they flush the vast majority of them. So we have to do something different to stand out. At one time, sending snail mail, everybody else sent snail mail. Now that's sort of revolutionary. So it's just some food for thought anyway. But no, seriously, I've gotten a lot of different good gigs and different jobs over the years. And a lot of times it had to do with uh, figuring out who's the mover and shaker in there. Like, who's the one who actually makes a difference in that company? Like, it's certainly not the person at the HR. No, it's the person in the department. And by the way, this is interesting on this one. It wasn't just some HR schmo who called me. It was the regional manager of this company. Like, this is it's actually an international conglomerate, and it has different subdivisions here and there, and doing specialty wharf building and whatnot. And it was the regional manager who called me, and he was like, "Hey, can you come for coffee? Will you go for coffee with me?" you know. Meanwhile, I'm up on a friggin' roof of a football field house, you know, putting on some roofing, and here the regional manager of a major multi-billion-dollar company is calling me. Why? Because well, first of all, I stood out, right? So I put on something different, which was snail mail, and it was well done. Like, I put together something it didn't just look like a handwritten shoddy thing. The envelope I hand wrote, because once again, even if they do get snail mail, they almost never get, you can guarantee it, an envelope that's actually handwritten. So I suspect when it arrived, it was like, you imagine you get your mail for the day, and you get, all the bills and all that crap, right? And then you flyers and what have you, and all of a sudden there's a letter that's handwritten. It's not even Christmas, right? So, and it's got real live stamp on it. It's going to go into a certain pile that's going to get open probably within a few minutes and read. So it's attention getting, and it has a hook because they're actually looking for somebody. Because I referenced in there that it has to do with this particular thing. Notice that you put out on the Kijiji or whatever it was, and I might even put the link in there. I don't know. They could have to type it in. But it was it was pertinent. It wasn't just how some people will have a show, but it's got no substance to it. Well, this was, hey, this is different. This is a letter coming in, but it's not just a fake or a prank or whatever. It's something real. And there was a phone number in there, and they gave me a call. So who knows what'll come from it. So that's the power of just doing things that are a little bit different, and it's right along the lines of that presentation I just did a few days ago. Who, by the way, most of them didn't seem to have much interest in it, but it sure works for me. So anybody's welcome to use it. Just be different. You don't have to use snail mail. It's just, and that's not the point. The point is just to do things differently, and we can get different results. If we go along with the herd, we get the herd's results, which sometimes, by the way, are not bad. I mean, there's lots of tried and true. I heard somebody recently talking about Eaton's, that they went out of business. They thought, oh, they were above having sales, right? So they stopped having sales, and then they crashed, the nosedive their company, and it went out of business. That's a pretty tried and true method, right? Because people like to think that they're saving some money. So they might have had to innovate around sales, make it Walmart does that. What do they call it? Price reduction or something. And they just come up with a different word, or they package it and frame it a little bit different. But the point of the matter is that if we do things differently, but not just do things differently for the sake of doing things differently, try different things. And if something works a bit better, and then go for it. I mean, because the point of the matter is, if we have value in the world that we're trying to present, or we're trying to create, or we're trying to offer value to the world for our gain, let's be honest, then we have to get noticed, right? And one of the ways we can get noticed is by being different. So that's the moral of this. So if this was helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. And it's been great getting back to a little bit of conversation on YouTube, if this is on YouTube, or BitChute if I'm BitChute. By the way, BitChute is performing better than YouTube now. No surprise. Of course, YouTube's never performed very well, but I've been losing subscribers on YouTube and gaining them on BitChute, which is great to see. So wonderful to see you guys on BitChute, and I enjoy the platform as well. Steve here again. Great chatting. If you like what I'm doing, once again, like, subscribe, and share. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.